Hi there guys, welcome back to the Class and Family Vlog. So today I will be doing a Q&A. I've done a um, social experiment actually, and I've actually received many responses regarding about 8 topics of which I've already mentioned before but never gone in depth regarding, right? Um, in terms of the questions, right, there was questions based on roles and responsibilities of a stepfather, separation time frame, in-laws and boundaries, moving to a new house, my business I'll be starting, or what business, where is Ilga and Shadai basically, how we met, how myself and my wife met basically, and you guys want us to go in, or want me to go in depth regarding the depression, right? So let's start off by the roles and responsibilities of a stepfather. So as a stepfather, right, you got married to your, let's say you are married to your wife and your wife has a daughter or a son out of wedlock, and the father is not there, or the father is there in existence, financially standing for the daughter itself, or not financially standing with the daughter itself. In terms of a stepfather, you have basically no rights in terms of a stepfather, right? Legally, you're not obligated to actually stand for your wife's daughter, right? The only times in which you are financially responsible for her daughter or the stepdaughter would be when you decide to adopt the daughter, or the son, or you decide to actually have, let's say, guardianship taken for the child itself, right? But financially, you're not responsible to see to any of those needs in terms of the child itself. As a good stepfather, you'll be able to do that when willing, right? However, if the parent, the one parent, is not around, has not been around, and you are willing to actually help your wife in terms of parental styles, it's best to actually have a agreement, written agreement, whereby you guys are able to come back and explain exactly what is going on, how you guys will be able to discipline and groom the daughter or child itself. And yes, it's best to have something on black and white, because I mean, it's a very sticky situation whereby you as a father figure, you're standing in as a father figure, and you are limited to do certain things. Yes, you are financially standing for the daughter or the child or the boy or whatsoever it may be, children. That's not yours at the wedlock basically. But I mean, there needs to be something to cover yourself also in terms of written agreement whereby we both agreed that you'll be standing as a father figure for the children, and when it comes to your stepdaughter or stepson or whatever children would be, if it's biological children, different story, but in terms of stepchildren, it's best to have a written agreement whereby you guys then have something on black and white, to stipulate that you guys have agreed on either or parties disciplining the child, standing in financially up until the child's at the age of where they are able to work for themselves, right? So in terms of responsibilities, you have no responsibilities towards, you're not obligated to have any responsibilities. The stepdaughter is not your responsibility basically, right? If you are married, the stepdaughter is not your responsibility. The only responsibilities of which is yours is basically your biological children, your wife, and obviously the household which you are raising the kids in, right? The roles of stepfather is a fine line, right? So as I mentioned before, we need to get guardianship at least to establish roles and responsibilities to stand in as a father figure legally and also financially, right? Moving along in terms of separation. So you guys have asked me how long how long by law are you allowed to stay separated in terms of being a couple? You guys were living together in a house for a couple of years or many years, right? And right in South Africa, it's known as, if you're living together for like 5 years and more, automatically by law you are known as a married couple, right? However, there is situations whereby you are married and you separated or something occurred and either or decide to live in a separate house, right? In terms of your responsibilities when it comes to the other, if the other decide to move out to live in their own accord in a different house, but without giving any time frame, right? That is a problem, because then that simply stipulates to you that yes, they want to have space, separate houses, but by not giving a time frame, it simply places you in limbo, right? You don't know what's going to come of your relationship, your marriage, or whatsoever it might be, right? Time frame, to be honest, there's no time frame. You guys are supposed to agree upon a time how long you guys will be living apart, and if the separation is basically a good thing, you guys must discuss exactly if this will become legal if you are married, right? Because in South Africa, you are able to get a legal document to stipulate you guys are living separately, but you still remain married by law, right? Responsibilities, let's say you are married and your wife is not working and she decides to go and live somewhere else, but she wants you to look after financially. The only time when you're responsible for her financially is when you guys agree upon that. However, if she decides to live out of her own, no time frame given, you're not financially reliable, not financially obligated to see to her needs or any rental financial dependencies when it comes to wherever she lives, right? If you have kids, you are then reliable, or you are liable to stand in for the children and continue assisting the children. That was another sticky situation, right? Also, you guys asked me a question regarding the in-laws and the boundaries. So, in-laws, it simply means you guys are married, right? It's best to have boundaries when it comes to in-laws, because there's times when they tend to overreact. It's best not to have either party discuss what's happening within your house outside to any family members or in-laws, because then they will have a say. You're giving power to them to have a say in whatsoever might be taking place, right? So let's say I'm going to add the 2 points together now, right? Your wife decides to live in a separate house, but it's at the in-laws household, right? The in-laws gets involved, and you, as the head of the house, or the wife that has moved out, or whoever moved out basically, gets involved, and then they become the third wheel within your marriage. That is a problem, because automatically that third wheel is going to influence your decision making regarding your marriage. That third wheel is going to break down your marriage completely, because automatically they have a say, because you allow them to say something. Should there be any scenario, should there be, let's say there was a dispute regarding something that occurred in your house, for example, right? And you tell them about that. So automatically you and your husband can reconcile, but the in-laws will still have the exact same mindset of either or party being this way, with the actual partner, the actual spouse, or the person of which you lived with for more than 5 years. Boundaries, basically set boundaries with regards to your in-laws, so that they can know exactly this is not their marriage, this is not a place for them to have any input. When you guys got married, you didn't get married to the spouse and the family, you got married to the spouse only. You didn't get married to the spouse and the children, you got married to the spouse only. In the household, the marriage comes first, the children comes after. It's best to have your husband or your wife placed before the kids, simply because if you keep the interest of your spouse on a point whereby you're not you're not neglecting them, right? Emotionally, physically, and so forth, but you give full attention towards the children, your spouse will feel neglected. There will become a tension. Tension will start to grow as well, and automatically your relationship will become bitter, and the next person will then become bitter and withdraw itself emotionally, verbally, and you won't be able to confide in the spouse basically, right? Yes, it's best to have boundaries regarding your in-laws. It's best to also have boundaries regarding the children. In this day and age, yes, you're not allowed to hit your children in terms of discipline, but by law, you should be speaking to the children. So hiding is not allowed anymore because it's seen as abuse, which is very strange because back then we used to get hidings. If it's consistently getting beaten up or getting a hiding on a consistent basis, then it's a problem because then you wasn't abusing the child. However, if it's not consistent but you're reprimanding for a couple of months, weeks, or however long, you are able to then attend to your child accordingly. Right? You guys also asked me regarding to the moving to the new house. Oh, guys, it's hard, it's tough out there, eh? Rates are expensive. Yes, I am planning on getting a house. I've uploaded the video. I cannot get a house that is smaller than 2 bedroom. Max at least 3 bedroom. I require a pool in my backyard. I need a big space for my dog as well. And yes, I'm planning on moving to Ocean, right? Yeah, it is a bit hard outside. There is certain things that you can do, but that's my aim, to actually move to Ocean, to start afresh. Also, the housing is actually much more affordable that side of the world. So, time span, possibly this year, if not the beginning of next year, 2025. I'm planning to move with my kids and possibly my wife as well. You guys also asked me regarding the business. What business are you talking about? You can speak about business the whole time. So the business which I'm starting, or I have started already, is a manufacturing company. So I'll be manufacturing diesel. I'll be manufacturing interlocking building bricks. Also, that covers your pavers, that covers your roof tiles, that covers your building blocks. And also I'll be having a recycling plastic center, right? So all of these will then require attention in terms of, I need to employ 150 employees. Premises has been granted already. 150 employees I'll need to start off with, and yeah, that's exactly the business which I'm talking about. Funding is there. In terms of funding, it's been approved. I'm just waiting on the funds to come through, and then Bob's your uncle, operations can start. But what I can say is, guys, things are expensive out there. Forklifts, trucks, plants for the recycling and manufacturing industry. Expensive, my guy. But yes, you guys asked where's Jeandre and Jeandre, right? Really sticky conversation because I don't want to go into detail. All I will say is they are currently living at a mother-in-law's place. Yeah, there's no time for me as to when they will be coming back. They haven't been, myself and my wife. In fact, it was not discussed at all. Things has happened so drastically, and they're living there now currently in this time frame. Right? You guys also asked exactly how we met. So myself and Jeandre met through my mom. Myself and my wife met through my mom. So she was working with my mom many years back, right? They were working together for one company. I've met her, I've actually become interested in her, and we haven't been dating. We've known each other for a couple of more than 5 years, and we haven't been dating, right? In the year of 2019, we then hooked up, we started dating, and I made this promise to my wife before we started dating. That's many years when I met her for the first time. I told her I'm going to make you my wife, I'm going to marry you. Many years has passed, and 2019 came. I proposed to my wife. We dated only for a month, people. And then December came in 2019. I proposed to my wife in Spur Grand Arena. I just want to remember my father's drove us to that place. I didn't have a car back then. I didn't have a car back then. So my father took us for a date night to Grand Arenas, myself and my wife only. We spent the night there and watched movies, went for supper, and I popped the answer the question in Spur in Van West, and she said yes, guys. So in terms of the wedding itself, we were engaged for about a year and a half, and we got married in the year of 2021. So we're still married now currently. But yes, there's ups and downs. There's ups and downs, guys. I mean, marriage isn't easy, right? But the main thing of which you need to have that is crucial within your marriage is communication and compromise. You must always compromise with your partner. I mean, it's not gonna help if the one person pulls the weight to one side and you pull the weight to the other side, and things are not gonna go healthy, right? Then the last question that you guys asked me about is to go in depth regarding depression. So depression is basically a mental illness, right? You guys asked me what the symptoms are regarding depression also. There's many symptoms in terms of you have a low self-esteem, you basically become an introvert, you don't want to be around people, your moods are up and down, you basically have this sort of hopelessness and you don't want to have anyone come around, you have insomnia, and I mean, there's a lot, guys. But there's insomnia, this depression affects your personal and your work life as well. And in terms of your emotions, right, it's you feel sad and depressed all the time. Not specifically depressed all the time, but you feel like you have a guilt. You feel guilty for everything. Also, you're very irritable. Very irritable. So yes, guys, so that is it for today's video. I will see you guys in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and leave your thoughts in the comment section as to what you guys think regarding this Q&A. Should I be doing this again in time soon? Okay? But yes, enjoy, like, subscribe, and click notification bell so that you get updated whenever we post a new video.
Baby, you'll get sick of being